Hey, welcome back to Mr. PL's with Precal. This is Unit 1, Topic 3, SLT, or Lesson Number 3. It's going to be a pretty short one because basically this lesson was designed to have time for practice. It's very similar to what we did in the last video. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this. So x plus 4 over, I'm going to factor on the bottom. So this can be factored into x plus 4 times x minus 3. Multiply, you get negative 12, and you add them, you get positive 1. So now the x plus 4's cancel, leaving you with 1 over x minus 3. So that's the same thing as this. So horizontal asymptotes, now you'll see that the numerator is less than the denominator. So in this case, then we know it's always going to be y equals 0. And the vertical asymptote is whatever it takes for the denominator cannot be equal to 0. There we go. So let me see if that fixed it. So x minus 3 cannot be equal to 0. Add 3 to both sides. Therefore, x is 3 is the vertical asymptote. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that now. There it is. So we also knew that because it says right there. So that's always the left or right, and the outside number is always the up or down. So y equals 0 is this, but there is no number on the outside, so that's the reason why it's 0. So the whole, so we know that x plus 4 was a part of the original equation. So x plus 4 is also not allowed to be 0, because if it was, then this equation wouldn't make any sense. Subtract 4 from both sides means x equals negative 4 as a whole. So I would find what is f of negative 4 by plugging that in. So that's 1 over negative 4 minus 3 would be 1 over negative 7. So that's at negative 4 comma 1 negative 7th. And the next one, so the y-intercept is when you put 0 in for x and solved. So if you put 0 right here, that should be easy if I just use this last one here. So it's 1 over 0 for x, so 0 minus 3. Usually touching stops it. There we go. 0 minus 3, which equals 1 over negative 3. So we know the y-intercept is at 0, negative 1/3. And the x-intercept is the x's are 0, which means the numerator is 0. It has a height of nothing. 0 divided by anything is still going to be 0. So that's when x plus 4 equals 0. All right, so second thought, looking at this again, you can tell that the horizontal asymptote is 0. So there are not going to be any y-intercepts because the y-intercept is, pen. Okay, there we go. None. It takes a couple seconds for it to work again. It's because it's right here along this line. So that's the reason why it can't be that. So it's 1 over x minus 3. So the next one's going to be 1 above it. Let me also plot the whole before I go any further. All right, come on, pen. There we go. Just ignore that right there. So where was the whole? The whole was at negative 4, negative 1/7, which would be about right there. So something like that. It's also going to hit right there, and then no hole on this side. So it's only got two things that two domains that it can't be, which is one's the vertical asymptote and the other one is the hole itself. All right, so same thing for this question. So I look at the top and ask myself, what can I factor this to? So this would be x minus 8 times x plus 1. And the bottom's going to be x, let's see, what's that, negative 8, x minus 8 times x plus 2. The minus 8's cancel each other out, so you're left with x plus 1 over x plus 2. All right, so horizontal asymptote. So I see that the numerators are both top and bottom are both the same, so that's 1, so that's the coefficients, 1 and 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. So it's got a horizontal asymptote. Let me move myself. Can I move it touch screen better? Okay, there we go. So horizontal asymptote at 1. Vertical asymptote, which means the denominator would be equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0. Then subtract 2 from both sides, which means x cannot be negative 2. So there's my vertical asymptote. All right, so then I asked myself, what could the whole be? So x minus 8 is where the whole is, which means x is 8. So find f of 8 to find that whole. So if I plug that in, so I get 8 plus 1 over 8 plus 2, which ends up being 9 over 10. So the whole is at 8 slash 9/10. So I'll do that whole now. 8 and 9/10 will be almost 1, which would be like right there. All right, so now I can graph it. So the y-intercepts in this case, where's it going to hit the y-axis? I could also plot that. So putting in 0 in for all the x's and solve. So that would give me -8, because 0 here, 0 cancels here, leaves me with -8. 0 cancels, 0 cancels. Because remember, 0 squared is still 0, and -6 times 0 is also 0. So if you plug 0 in for x, these are going to basically cancel out, leave me with -16, which leaves you with 1/2. So the y-intercept is at 0, 1/2. 0, 1/2 is about right there. So that is where it hits the y-axis. So it's going to curve up like this. I also know I can put one more feature in here, since that is, oh no, I cannot. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, curve up just like this. And my x-intercepts, well, it is going to hit the x-axis, so that's when I put 0 in for the numerator and solve. Oh, I'm sorry, what would make the numerator equal to 0? Sorry. So that would be x plus 1 cannot be 0. So that would be x is -1. So that would be -1, 0. Should be -1, 0 is about right there. And it pretty much does hit. It's getting close enough. My graph just could have curved a little bit better. All right, thanks again for watching. And I look forward to a couple more videos for this topic. And that'll be it. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.